Do you want to be better understood as an English speaker? Do you want your English confidence to grow?
If you said yes, then this video is definitely for you. Learning word formation allows you to express yourself more clearly and effectively. So English speakers are less likely to misunderstand you. You will become a more independent English learner.
Let's break it down for you.
Word formation, put simply, is the creation of new words and word types, the way new words are formed.
Understanding word formation helps to take you from an intermediate to an advanced English learner because you are able to see a word and understand its meaning based on your knowledge of how it is built or created.
You can then use this knowledge to be able to use word formation yourself, to speak and write words based on the rules we will explain in this video.
Understanding why words are created the way they are naturally leads to learning new words and understanding how to change or define a word based on how you use it in a sentence. So this helps to expand your vocabulary.
This leads to being able to express yourself more clearly and effectively, and ultimately helps prevent you from being misunderstood when you speak in English. And you will become a more confident and independent English learner. So does this all sound good to you?
If it does, then this video is definitely for you.
To help you, we've provided you with a free PDF in the description box below. In it are all of the word formations that we're going to be going through in this video, as well as a couple of extras. You can use this to help you with your studying.
Download the free PDF in the description box below, or wait till the end of the video and download it then. For those of you who are new here, welcome to the channel. We're glad you're here.
I'm Jen. I have over 7 years of teaching experience. I am a certified teacher with my Bachelor of Education degree from a university. I have experience teaching English language learners from various countries. My first language is English. I have studied in English. I have 2 degrees and a diploma, all in English. My passion is learning new ways of teaching English for all learners.
Hi everyone, I'm Dan. As a student, I studied law and completed a bachelor degree and then went on to complete my master's in legal studies. All of my education was completed in English. I'm a lifelong English speaker, and I now work in the corporate world in the fields of sales and marketing with other businesses.
So the goal of this channel is to get you to advanced English as fast as possible. If you're interested in this type of content, please subscribe to our channel.
And you won't miss any future content on advanced English. We're really happy to be taking you through this lesson today, so let's start. The study of word formation is called morphology.
The 4 main ways of word formation in modern English that we're going to cover today are affixation, composition, conversion, and abbreviation. There are subcategories as well. We will define each one and provide you with examples to make things clearer for you.
As we're going through, you'll start to see patterns in the way that words are created with letters at the beginning, letters at the end, and some of the root words. So this is going to help you to identify the proper words to use when you're speaking. It'll help you understand fluent English speakers a little bit better and the context and meaning of the words that you're using and the words that you're hearing. The first type of word formation that we're going to look at is called affixation. So this includes prefixes, suffixes, and circumfixes.
Letters, or affixes, are added to a base word to make a new word with a new meaning.
Prefixes are very common in English. So these are letters that you'll see at the beginning of a base word or a root word. So we're going to review some of the most common prefixes. We'll start with dis, D-I-S.
The meaning of dis, when you add it to a base word, it changes it to mean the opposite of the base word or not the base word. So, for example, if the base word is advantage, then it would be disadvantage. So, not having the advantage or the opposite of advantage.
Another example would be disagree. To disagree. So that's the opposite of agreeing, you disagree.
The next prefix is for, F-O-R-E. For changes the meaning of the base word to mean before or front.
Some examples are foresight and foreground. So foresight is to be able to look ahead, and foreground is when you're looking at an image or a photo. It is the part of the image that is closest to the observer. Another very common prefix is re, R-E. So this means again.
So an example is reschedule. So scheduling something again, or adding re to read would be reread. So reading something again. So the next one is un, U-N. Un means not when added to a base word. So, for example, unapologetic would mean that you're not apologetic.
Another example would be unforgettable. So it's not something that you will forget. Another common prefix is over, O-V-E-R. This means more than usual or more than expected.
So, for example, overachieve means to achieve more than what's expected, to overachieve. Something that is overpriced means that it's priced way too high. It is overpriced. So the next prefix is miss, M-I-S. That prefix, when added to the beginning of a base word, makes that word kind of into a negative, so not the base word.
An example of this would be misfortune. So a misfortune is something that is unfortunate. It's something that is not good. Or misunderstood. If something is misunderstood, you didn't quite understand what was said.
You're not understood.
Another set of similar prefixes that do the same thing, they negate or they put the base word or the root word into a negative, are in, I-N, im, I-M, IR, and ill, IL. So all of these prefixes turn the root word into a negative.
So, for example, inactive. So it means that something's not active. Another example is imbalance, something that's not balanced. Impossible, something that's not possible. Irrational, something that's not rational. Irrelevant, something that's not relevant. Illegible, something that's not legible. And illegitimate, something that's not legitimate. So the next prefix is mid, M-I-D. Mid means middle.
Some examples would be mid-20s, mid-air, and mid-afternoon.
So if it's mid-afternoon, it's the middle of the afternoon.
Mid-air would be in the middle of the air, and mid-20s would be in the middle of the 20s. The next form of affixation is something called a suffix. Very similar to a prefix, only this time the letters go at the end of the base word. These are very, very common in English, and we're going to go through some of the most common suffixes right now.
So the first one is an ending of ES or S. So this changes the base word to become multiple.
This is a really common, important suffix. Some examples would be foxes, dogs, tables,
Boxes.
boxes. This indicates that something has more than one. It's countable to be more than one.
The next suffix is est, est, which makes the base word mean the most of that base word.
Some examples would be fastest and strongest. So if something's the fastest, it is the most fast. If something's the strongest, it is the most strong.
So the next suffix is full, F-U-L. Full, when added to the end of a base word, means full of whatever that base word is.
Some examples would be joyful and careful. Joyful is full of joy. Careful is somebody who takes close care.
Yeah.
Somebody who takes close care of something.
Full of care.
Full of care. Somebody who is full of care.
So the next suffix is less, L-E-S-S. When added to a base word, it means without.
Some examples would be selfless, meaningless, aimless. So these are without self, without meaning, and without aim.
The next suffix is able, A-B-L-E. This means something can be done or is capable.
Some examples would be believable or doable. So something that you can believe or something that you can do.
Our last suffix is ness, N-E-S-S. So that means the state of something or the quality of something.
Some examples would be nervousness or busyness. The final form of affixation that we're going to cover is a circumfix. This is when you're adding both a prefix and a suffix. Something to the beginning and something to the end of the word.
So the prefix un, the base word reason, and the suffix able would make unreasonable.
If we take the base word trust and add dis and full, we have distrustful.
If we take the prefix miss and the base word lead and the suffix ing, you get misleading.
If you have the prefix in and the base word correct and the suffix ly, you have incorrectly.
And finally, if you have the prefix un, the base word question, and the suffix able, then you have unquestionable.
If you have a really good reason for wanting to become fluent in English, perhaps it's for your career, perhaps you've moved to an English-speaking area or that you want to, go to our website, englishperfectus.com, and check out our private English lessons. We want to help you achieve your English fluency goal. So go to our website and see how we can help.
So the next word formation is called composition or word compounding. So you're basically creating compound words. So two words or more are put together to make a compound word with a new meaning. So the most common types of compound words are nouns. We will go through open compound words, closed compound words, and hyphenated compound words with examples.
Some open compound words, and these are two words with a space in between them, are post office, ice cream, high school, and cell phone.
The next subcategory of compound words are closed compound words. So instead of being two separate words, there's that space in between. Closed is closing that gap. So the two words are put together without any space.
Some examples would be cupcake, basketball, cheeseburger, and toothbrush.
The next subcategory of compound words is hyphenated compound words. So they're two words or more that have a hyphen in between the words.
Some examples are runner-up, happy-go-lucky, eye-opening, and far off.
So the next category of word formation is conversion.
This is when you have a word and the exact same word, same spelling, same pronunciation takes on a different meaning. For example, the word water. Water is a noun, it's a liquid, but to water is a verb. You would water your plants. So there's water and then to water. Some other examples would be hammer. So a hammer is a noun. It's a thing used to hammer nails. And to hammer is a verb. And then you have the word dance. So there's a dance, which is a place you would go to dance and socialize. And then there's to dance, which is a verb. Oftentimes you can tell these words apart by the words that are used in front of them. If you see an article like the, a, or an, you're usually talking about a noun, and the word to is usually a verb.
The next category of word formation is abbreviations. So there's 3 ways of abbreviating words that we're going to look at. There's clipping, there's acronyms, and there's blends.
So what is clipping? Clipping is a really common form of shortening words that we use in English. It's where you're just clipping out or removing a syllable, a sound, or multiple syllables. For example, the word advertisement, we usually just say ad, or photograph, we say photo. Instead of gymnasium, we'll say gym. Instead of hippopotamus, it's just hippo. And instead of maximum, we use max. This is really common in English.
I also want to mention that this is commonly used with names as well. So for example, Dan's full name is Daniel, but he's clipped it down to Dan.
Jennifer has clipped her name down to Jen.
Clipping names is a way to be a little less formal.
It is a little more familiar to use a shortened version of someone's name. The second type of abbreviation is also very common. It's called an acronym, where you're using the first letter of each word in a phrase or in a sentence as a short form. And the acronym means the same thing as the phrase or the sentence. For example, PIN is a common acronym. It means personal identification number. PIN means the same thing.
Another common example of an acronym is ASAP, which means as soon as possible. ASAP.
Another common one is YOLO, you only live once, or LOL, laugh out loud. LOL. Is it LOL or LOL?
I don't know. I think it can be either one. I've heard both.
And BRB, be right back.
The next type of abbreviation are blends. Blends are when you take parts of words and put them together to make another word. It could be the beginning of the word or the end of the word that's used. It doesn't have to be the beginning letter of the words like what we previously looked at with acronyms. The resulting word that you get with blends takes on the meaning of both words.
An example would be smog. This is a mix of smoke and fog. Put them together, smog, new word, kind of a mix between the two. There's also glamping, which is glamour and camping. It's kind of a glamorous type of camping. There's also brunch, which is a meal that you would have between breakfast and lunch. And then there's also froyo, which is frozen yogurt. Thank you for watching until this point in the video. We'd like to remind you that if you're interested in learning more about word formation and the different types of word formation with more examples, use the link in the description box to download the free PDF we've created on this lesson. Go there now, download it, study it, use it, learn it. We hope you get a lot from it.
Thank you to all of you who have commented on our videos, have liked our videos, and subscribed. We really do appreciate it. It means more than you know.
Until next time, keep learning.
And we'll talk soon.